Well, moving on now, a day after intercepting the dozens of vessels making up the global summit flotilla the global Sumud flotilla, before they managed to break the Israeli blockade of Gaza, Israeli officials Friday continued deporting and arresting those who had participated. Now, 4 Italian activists were sent back to their country, while Reporters Without Borders said that over 20 foreign journalists were arrested on board the flotilla's vessels. Now, Israel's treatment of that flotilla and more generally that ongoing war in Gaza sparked a new wave of worldwide protests Thursday and Friday, including in Italy, where tens of thousands are rallying nationwide as a part of a full-day general strike Friday called by unions. For more on this, we'll cross to our correspondent, Seema Gupta in Rome. Hi, Seema. So how big is this strike? Is it having an impact thus far this Friday?
Yes, there has been widespread disruption throughout the country, particularly in the education and transport sectors. Schools have been closed, trains cancelled or delayed, as well as some flights, and big marches. We're seeing big protests throughout the country, from the north to the south. The unions are saying some 100,000 people have taken to the streets in the financial capital of Milan. Here in Rome, 60,000 people. In Turin, some 50,000. We know that access to ports in Livorno as well as Naples have been blocked by these protesters, and their protests in and around Tuscany. The protesters have blocked the motorway access to Pisa. So really quite a strong reaction. Now, the unions called for this strike because they said the aggression against civilian ships carrying Italian citizens was really a very serious matter, and they felt that this had to continue. We do understand that some 40 Italians have been detained. We know that those 4 have been released. The 4 are 2 Italian parliamentarians and another 2 Euro parliamentarians. We understand that they are now back in Italy. But the Italy's strike watchdog actually declared this strike illegal because insufficient notice was given. But the leader of the massive trade union behind this strike said that they feel that it is legitimate because it's an expression and a reaction of solidarity to the Palestinians, and they want peace. They believe that the government hasn't put enough pressure on Israel to stop the war and to allow this aid into Gaza.
Well, the message then, Seema, from the streets in Italy seems to be clear. The scale of these protests seems to be quite unique in the European Union. So where does that leave the Italian government? What has the Italian Prime Minister said? Is this putting pressure on her next moves?
Well, Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni has been very clear. She has said the flotilla is dangerous and an irresponsible initiative, particularly at this time when there's this possible peace proposal that's being pushed forward by the U.S. President Donald Trump. And in fact, she attacked the unions for organizing this strike, saying that it brings no benefit to the Palestinian people and instead bring lots of problems for Italian citizens as there's so much disruption. And she said, in fact, went as far as saying that this general strike happening on a Friday, well, a long weekend and revolution doesn't actually go together. So some pretty strong words. The Deputy Prime Minister and Transport Minister, Matteo Salvini, also saying that if there's to be any violence in these protests, these union leaders will have to answer for it. So clearly a very strong reaction from the government to this strike action. But for the moment, we are seeing these marches across cities throughout Italy, even on the islands of Sardinia and Sicily.
Seema Gupta, our correspondent in Rome, thank you very much.